ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਅੱਜ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ, ਅੱਜ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰੀਦੀਆਂ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਦੇਈਦੀ ਹੈ, ਨੌਲੇਜ ਦੇਈਦੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ, ਮੇਰਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਵੀ ਹੋ ਸਕਦਾ। ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਮੈਂ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਜਾਪਾਨ ਤੋਂ। ਜਾਪਾਨ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਡਿਪੋਰਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀਗਾ, ਪਰ ਮੈਂ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਗਿਆ ਸੀਗਾ। ਉੱਥੇ ਕਾਨਫਰੰਸ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਸ਼ਨਲ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਦੇ 6000 ਵਕੀਲ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋਏ ਸੀਗੇ, ਅਤੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਦੇ UK ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਐਂਡ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਡਿਪਾਰਟਮੈਂਟ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਗੌਰਮੈਂਟ ਜੋ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਉਹਦਾ ਨਾਲ ਗਏ ਸੀਗੇ। ਸੋ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਉੱਥੇ ਸੱਦਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਸੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਆ ਗਏ ਜਾਪਾਨੀ ਲਾਈਫ। ਉਹ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਅਗਲੇ ਹਫ਼ਤੇ ਡਿਸਕਸ ਕਰੂੰਗਾ। ਪਰ ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਕੀਤੀ, ਇੱਕ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮੈਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਨੋਟਿਸ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਉੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਦੇਖਦਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕੋਈ ਮੋਟਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ, ਉੱਥੇ ਕੋਈ ਪਤਲੇ ਪਤਲੇ ਹੀ ਸੀਗੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਜੋ ਹੈਗੇ, ਸਿਹਤ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਖਿਆਲ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ। ਸੋ ਆਈ ਥੌਟ ਇੰਨੇ ਸਿਹਤਮੰਦ ਬੰਦੇ ਆ, ਆਈ ਮੀਨ ਦੇ ਲੁਕਿੰਗ ਆਊਟ ਫॉर देयर ਹੈਲਥ, ਫਿਟ ਫਾਟ, ਯੂ ਨੋ, ਐਂਡ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੈਲਥੀ ਸੀਗੇ। ਨੋਟ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਟਾਈਪ ਹੈਲਥੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਾਡੇ ਹੰਗਰ, ਬਟ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਟਾਈਪ ਹੈਲਥੀ, ਮਤਲਬ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਮੀਨਿੰਗ ਆਫ ਦ ਵਰਡ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਦਾ ਜੋ ਟੌਪਿਕ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਹੈਲਥ ਬਾਰੇ ਹੈਗਾ, ਐਂਡ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹੱਡੀਆਂ ਅਤੇ ਨਾੜਾਂ ਦੀਆਂ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਸਿਹਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲੁੱਕ ਆਫਟਰ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ। ਅਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਗੈਸਟ ਆਏ ਹੋਏ ਆ ਜੋ ਕਿ 올 ਦ ਵੇ ਫਰੋਮ ਸਕਾਟਲੈਂਡ, ਪਰ ਐਕਚੁਅਲੀ ਸ਼ੀ ਇਜ਼ ਕਮ ਫਰੋਮ ਨੀਅਰ ਬਾਏ, ਬਟ ਓਰੀਜਨਲੀ ਸਕਾਟਲੈਂਡ ਤੋਂ, ਐਂਡ ਸ਼ੀ ਇਜ਼ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਾਈਡ chiropractor। ਆਪ ਹੀ ਪੁੱਛ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਦੇ ਕੀ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ। ਸੋ ਇਸ Tanu Sandhu, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਜੀ।
ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।
So Tanu, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ tell us, what do you do? ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ?
Yeah. I'm a McTimney chiropractor, so slightly different from the chiropractors that you hear about and you see about. So we look at the whole body in a whole, and it's more of an overall wellness and preventative method.
McTimney chiropractor ਤੇ normal chiropractor 'ਚ ਕੀ ਫਰਕ ਹੈ?
So we use different adjustments.
Okay.
We use very gentle adjustments. So it's not these hard, forceful ones that you see everybody, you know, hear about the cracks.
ਬਾਲਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਖਿੱਚ ਤੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੱਡੀਆਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੋੜਦੇ।
Very, very, very gentle. I can use it on babies, I can use it on the elderly. It's very gentle manipulation, and it's not even like, you know, pop and out the door. It's let's look at you, let's look at everything.
Okay.
And see how you're doing.
How comes we haven't heard a lot about McTimney chiropractors?
I think it's because there's just so much of the other chiropractic about, and it gets publicised a lot more. We are coming up a lot more through, because as well we're slightly younger.
Okay.
So
ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇਹ ਇਲਾਜ ਆ ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਡਿਗਰੀ ਵੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ? Degree for what you do?
Yeah, of course we do. We have to be registered here, so it's a 5-year degree.
5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਦੀ degree?
Yeah, it's a BSc honours degree.
Oh, really? So you spent 5 years at uni?
I spent 5 years at uni.
So why didn't you become like a normal doctor? Why didn't you become a normal doctor?
Do you know what? To be honest, I've had alternative health my whole life. We've always looked at using just everything but medicine.
Okay.
And looking at homeopathy, you know, looking at chiropractic for certain ailments, and I thank my family for it, really, to be honest.
So, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ job, do you use an element of all of that, like homeopathy and alternative medicine?
Specifically, but I know enough about it to, you know, if I feel that they need a bit of extra support with, like, say, nutrition or Ayurvedic or homeopathy, I know people that I can convert to, but I try and treat more, you know, ailments that you're looking at that are a bit more structural.
So ਲੋਕ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਕਿਹੜੇ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ?
So back pain, muscle pain, joint pain, migraines and headaches common.
Migraine, headache?
Yes. So a few different things I use for migraine and headaches and stuff.
So ਤੁਸੀਂ migraine and headache ਲਈ ਕੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜੋ ਪੈਰਾਸੀਟਾਮੋਲ ਦੀ ਗੋਲੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ?
So most of the time, it depends where your headaches and migraines are coming from. You know, a lot of people get headaches, and especially tension type headaches, from sitting at their desk like this all day. And a lot of neck problems with neck muscles. So it's about, you know, getting the realignment, releasing off all those muscles and relieving the pressure from the head. Okay,
so when you were studying, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਸਿੱਧਾ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਪ੍ਰੈਕਟਿਸ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਵੀ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ?
So in my last year, we're trained at the college, and we're watched by cameras like Big Brother. And
make sure ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿਸ ਦਾ ਸਿਰ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਪਾਉਂਦੇ?
Exactly, we're not doing any inappropriate things. And it's like having a teacher, and you're just going in and going out, and they're making sure you're doing all the paperwork correctly and everything, and making sure you're on the right track.
ਬਹੁਤ ਲੋਕ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੁਣ obviously ਸਾਊਥ ਹਾਲ ਦੇ ਏਰੀਆ 'ਚ, ਬਰਮਿੰਗਮ ਦੇ ਏਰੀਆ 'ਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਲ ਜਾਓ, ਜਾਂ ਯੂ ਨੋ ਲੋਕ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਮੇਰੀ ਬੈਕ ਦੁਖਦੀ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਕੋ ਗਿਆ, ਜਾਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਸਿਰ ਦੁਖਦਾ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਕੋ ਗਿਆ, ਜਾਂ ਮੇਰੀ ਬਾਂਹ ਦੁਖਦੀ ਸੀ, ਮੈਂ ਫਲਾਣੇ ਕੋ ਗਿਆ. When you ask who ਫਲਾਣਾ is, then they always go, oh, ਕੋਈ ਭਾਈ ਆ, his house, or you know, there's a woman there or something, and you know, then they do a bit of prayer and they do a bit of stuff like that. I mean, is it quite safe? I mean, you know, is it quite regulated? To me, it just seems that I would say, if you have a medical problem, then you should go to a medical person rather than...
Understandable. Well, we are regulated. Okay. And as people know, you know, osteopaths and physios are on the NHS as well.
That's right,
we're all regulated. It wouldn't be a proper honours degree in this country if it wasn't.
Okay, but what do you think, though, about alternative medicine? Have you seen the effects of it, and does it work?
Oh, yeah, it's worked on me. I've been using it most of my life, and all the people close and dear to me have. And it's nice to know that you can have an alternative to conventional medicine, because sometimes it just doesn't quite work. It just masks the problems, and you want to get to the bottom of it. You don't want it reoccurring again.
Tanu, कितना चेर हो गया ये काम करते हैं?
I've been out of college now for 5 years.
So tanu 5 साल हो गए.
Yeah.
And तुसी लंदन में practice करते हो?
Yes, I practice in Twickenham.
Okay. And main thing is कि तुसी किन्ने चर्च इलाज कर दिंदे आ या ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਕਿ ਹਾਂ ਇਸ ਬੰਦੇ ਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਇਸ ਔਰਤ ਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਇਲਾਜ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਜਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ? So someone comes to you with a problem, how do you diagnose it, whether you and how do you find out whether you can cure it or not, or do you need to send them on somewhere else?
Well, that's your training at the end of the day, and that's experience as well. You know, you learn a lot when you get out, but we have the experience that doctors do to diagnose. You know, if there's a serious problem, we ask medical history. You know, half my consultations are done where we're asking, you know, have you got any heart problems, have you got any of this? So it's our job to figure out that what's happening, and I can say at least 90% of the time I'm correct.
Right. Hon, jere headaches ya, kyun hunde lokan nu zyada? Why do people have migraines and headaches? I mean,
this world we live in at the end of the day, you know, we're all so busy, we're, you know, running about like crazy. We don't look at our health as much because, you know, life takes over, I guess, now. And that's the thing, we're not taking the time out for ourselves to get better. And, you know, a lot of people, it's a kind of pill-popping paracetamol generation of, I've got to go to work. You know, we get these things because our body's telling us to settle down and, you know, rest because it's too much. But obviously we need to carry on.
Okay, so how much rest is important? I mean, so if there's a 7-day week, and aam taur te people work 5 days, some even work 5.5, 6 days, you know. Some of us work 7 days, but I don't, but I used to. But I mean, so, kinni ka rest zaruri hundi hai din ch?
It depends on what you're doing. If you've got a quite physical job, it's really important that you do rest. But at the end of the day, it completely just depends. I think we're at a generation now where we're all sitting in front of computers. And that's one of the biggest things I see is posture-related issues that have caused problems with your neck, back, headaches, and even sciatica.
So computer the more better we, like, you know, it creates a lot of problems.
A lot of problems.
So because someone would think, okay, मेरी back दुखदी है, and they think, right, फिर तू को box से तो चकदा नहीं है, इट्टा तो चकदा नहीं, तेरी किद्दां बैठे दी, office बंदे आनी किद्दां back दुखन लग पैंदी.
Yeah, because you're not using your muscles at the end of the day. You know, exercise is really important that people do forget. Okay. It's stuff like, and I'm not talking about going down the gym and lifting heavy weights. At the end of the day, keeping mobile is one of the most important things, and drinking a lot of water.
Right. And so, पानी पीना बहुत ज़रूरी है, जैसे सेहत का ख्याल रखना, and हिलना जुलना. I mean, sitting in one place is no good for anyone. एक थां बैठे रहना, जैसे ऐसे ही बैठे रहना, or no good there for anybody. So, what do you suggest then for people who have office jobs? ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਦਫ਼ਤਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ?
Do you know what? Every 40 to 50 minutes, get up, get some water, even try and get some fresh air, just move about, and obviously make sure you're at a good posture at your desk.
Right, what is a good posture?
Okay, so up straight.
Like this, yeah?
Use the back of the chair.
I know what it is. After spending like 20 years in a bad posture, I know, right.
Use the back of the chair, that's what they're meant for.
So ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੈਠਣਾ, if you're at a desk, sit up straight.
Yep, go to the back of the chair.
So put your back right ਬੈਠਣਾ ਲਾ ਲੈਣੀ ਹੈ, ਠੀਕ, okay.
Try and keep your legs uncrossed.
Okay, ਲੱਤਾਂ cross ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ, ਮਤਲਬ ਇਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਰੱਖਣੀਆਂ.
Make sure you're right at the table. So make sure when you're on the table, that your elbows are bent.
Yep.
So not too far, so we all have to come in a little bit.
Okay.
So you're working at a comfortable position where your back can be supported without any strain on your neck. Because a lot of people tend to do this or this. And that's where the problems happen.
Okay. So sitting like this, like that. Eddani, this is quite a bad posture.
That's quite bad. You're putting a lot of pressure in your lower back there.
Okay, and like that slouching, we know what it.
Obviously. Chairs have back supports, that's the point of them.
Yeah, okay, right, okay. So people who not necessarily do physical work also have back problems.
Of course, because a lot of the time people with physical jobs just do their physical jobs and they will eventually wear and tear if they're not supporting themselves whilst doing other exercises, i.e. overusing certain muscles.
Okay, we've got a model of a spine here next to you. So there you go, you can see a spine. There you go. That's the reed di haddi, that's called, yeah?
Yes.
In Punjabi, right. So ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ you can see ਇੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਸੀਗਾ light color ਜਿਹਾ ਹਾਂ ਇਹ ਕੀ ਆ?
They're discs.
ਇਹ ਡਿਸਕਾਂ ਆ?
They're basically, shall we say, the sponge on top, in between your bones to take all the pressure and load.
Reed di haddi isn't just one haddi?
No.
No,
we've got.
That's what we all think. Well,
no.
Used to.
We have different sections of the spine.
Okay.
And as you can see, we have slight curves in our spine as well.
Right. Why isn't that siddhi? Why isn't that reed di haddi siddhi? It should be straight, right?
No.
No.
We are slightly curved, very slightly curved, inwards at the neck.
So that's how a reed di haddi should look like.
Yes, that's how it should look.
ऐदा reed di haddi थोड़ी होनी चाहिए है, बिल्कुल सिद्धि नहीं हुंदी. ਇਹਦੇ ਚ curve ਹੁੰਦੀ है.
What a lot of problem end up being like is that.
ऐदा जे खराब होवे फिर ऐदा हुंदी, right?
Yeah, or the equivalent of that.
Right, yeah, ऐदा. Okay, so them white bits, are चिट्टी चीज़ां, they're haddiयां, right? They're sacral bone, is it?
Yes, these are the bones lying here.
And the yellow चीज़ां, they're
the nerves. These ones in between here.
Okay.
They're the discs.
They're the discs.
And these coming out are your nerves.
Okay.
So your nerves control body temperature, your muscles, how you move, absolutely everything in the body, your organs, everything.
What is the most common sort of problems you see with the back?
With the back, various things. It's very various of things. You know, a lot of people, it's just back. Or the spine move this way, there'd be pressure on this nerve. Okay. And that's what can cause the tingling of the nerve going down. But also, this is what a new thing we're finding. There's a very small percentage of people that have the sciatic nerve, which goes down the back of your leg, going through one of the muscles in your buttocks.
Okay.
And that can also, if that muscle's tight, that can also stimulate the sciatic senses of pain, numbness and tingling, and pins and needles and things like that. So, you treat it if someone's got a back problem. How would you treat it? Well, first of all, I have to figure out where it's coming from.
Okay. And how do you do that?
Is it postural based? You know, isolating, you know, which segment it's coming from.
So you'd examine them, right?
You'd examine them.
Okay.
Yes. So checking out as well if it's muscle based, is it posture based? Is it because of a muscle, or is it because of something else?
Can you tell ਹੱਥਾਂ ਨਾਲ examine ਕਰਕੇ ਕਿ ਕਿਸੇ ਦੇ ਕਿੱਥੇ pain या key problem, or do you have to send it for a scan?
No, I do it by hand. Right. I do it by asking the history of the patient, what they were doing at the time, and all the signs that you can ask to be able to get down to the nitty and gritty. Okay, so ਇਹਦਾ ਫਿਰ ਇਲਾਜ ਕੀ ਹੈ? What's the treatment for it? ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੋ for my back pain. If someone says, I've got back pain. I use a couple of different things. So depending, if it's a muscle issue, we look at acupuncture and dry needling. Right.
Acupuncture ki hunda.
Okay. So acupuncture is using really, really small, fine needles. And I use two methods depending on what's happening with the problem. So dry needling is another kind of form of acupuncture where you're going deeper into the muscle to stimulate a response.
Right. So acupuncture ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਜੋ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਚੀਨੇ ਕਾਫੀ ਯੂਜ਼ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸੂਈਆਂ ਲਾਉਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਸੂਈ ਦੇਖੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਬੰਮ ਸੂਈ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਢੂਹੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਠੀਕ ਹੋ ਜੂ? How does that work?
Okay.
How can someone stick a needle somewhere else and it suits your back out? ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਚੀਜ਼ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਮਝ
So if I was looking at doing acupuncture at the back, you'd be looking at putting it into the specific muscles that were causing the tension. So
ਤੁਸੀਂ muscle ਵਿੱਚ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹੋ? It's not in the actual reed, it's not in the spine.
It's not in the spine, no, it's in the muscle most of the time.
And how does that help? I mean,
Well, if the muscles are too tight around the spine,
the sui pocket want to get tighter.
No,
because it'll think, oh, I'm under attack or something.
So what it does actually, when you're putting the needles in, it elicits a response to the brain to kind of get a twitch response out of that muscle. So it kind of resets the system. So when muscles contract...
It's like a reset button.
Yeah, it is. It's like switching the PlayStation on and off and it automatically starts again.
So suiyan taan londe hunde ho.
Yes.
Okay. And then how many suiyan do they put in there? Because how many suiyan do you use? 1? Do you use 10? Do you use like 50?
It just depends what's going on. It just depends. I can use 1 in a person. I can use about 20 in a person. It's so variable.
And how long do you leave that in for the sui?
Depending what's going on.
Okay.
If I'm looking for a straight muscle response, we're in for about 5 to 10 seconds.
Okay.
If I'm looking more on a holistic basis and it's superficial muscle tension, then obviously I'll leave it in longer.
Okay. So ਜਿਹੜਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ dry needling ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਫਿਰ most?
Well, that's what I'm talking about, going into the muscle and getting a twitch response.
Well, acupuncture doesn't go into the muscle?
It does, but it doesn't
Not
go
that much.
into the deep muscle.
Okay.
So, because acupuncture is based on Western medicine, they look at some meridian lines going through the body. They don't equate to the actual, you got the bladder line running there. It doesn't equate always to the bladder line, but it is at specific muscles most of the time.
ਹੁਣ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਆ ਜੀ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਾਈਡ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ 5 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਡਿਗਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਹੋ ਸੂਈ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਲਾਉਣੀ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਣਜਾਣ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਚੱਲ ਜਾਈਏ and if we see some Chinese people who say want acupuncture, should we trust them? I mean, are they qualified or?
To be honest, they're qualified over in China most of the time. Some of them do have degrees here.
Right.
The most thing is to check if they're registered here.
Okay.
Because that's the biggest thing. Because, at the end of the day, if something goes wrong, you need to be able to see if they're regulated at the end of the day.
Okay.
And that's the most
What can go wrong? If someone puts a sui in your back, I mean, what can go wrong?
To be honest, you can get a lot of bruising, but that's okay. But there's not too much that can go wrong. There are a few instances.
Side effects
there can be.
Okay.
It's so variable depending on person to person. There are some big ones, but I'd just say, as long as you're going to a qualified person that knows what they're doing and they are regulated, that's the main thing.
ਚਲੋ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜੀ ਬੈਕ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਹੁਣ ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਬਾਰੇ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਹੈ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਾਂਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਐਵਰੀ ਫਰਾਈਡੇ ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਦਿਖਾਵਾਂਗੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਖਾ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਦਿਮਾਗਾਂ ਲਈ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਖਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਲਾਜ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਪਰ ਹੁਲਾ ਆਫਟਰ ਅ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ
That'll be $4.99, ma'am.
There you go.
Thank you. And have a great day.
Well, what about my change?
What can you get with 1p?
A call to my mum who lives in India. You don't believe me? Mum!
Hi, Beta.
How are you?
Call India landlines and mobiles for only 1 pence per minute. Order your free SIM at likeamobile.co.uk today.
Rock On Music proudly presents An Evening with Roop Kumar and Sonali Rathore.
Friends, we are bringing this very special concert just for you on 8th of November at the Logan Hall, London.
Experience the heart-healing music by the famous duo.
And 9th November at the Montford, Leicester. So please be there.
Call box office for tickets.
ये तेरा घर ये मेरा घर
मकान खरीदना हो, बेचना हो, किराए पर चढ़ाना हो या फिर आपको किराए पर मकान लेना हो, याद रखिए एक ही नाम, सीक्वेंस प्रॉपर्टीज। प्रोफेशनल सर्विस, गुजराती, हिंदी, पंजाबी और इंग्लिश बोलने वाला स्टाफ, फ्री वैल्यूएशन, इंश्योरेंस एडवाइस एंड फ्री मॉर्गेज कंसल्टेशन। सीक्वेंस प्रॉपर्टीज, 5 Coronet Parade, Ealing Road, Wembley. Call 020-8902-0266.
Pure Heaven. Non-alcoholic celebration drinks. All the fun without the alcohol. Pure Heaven. Make every moment a sparkling moment.
Now available at selected Tesco stores.
When your dreams are just taking flight and the wind beneath them, I whisk you away to the twinkling Queen's Necklace by night in Mumbai, or the rising dry heat of the Australian outback, to the street food of Bangkok, or the teeming traffic of Delhi in time for you to nail that deal, meet the family, shop till you drop, or just rest your feet. I'm your Air India, from dreams to reality.
Ji, and welcome to the show. Once again, ਗੱਲ ਸਾਡੀ ਹੋ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਸਿਹਤ ਬਾਰੇ, ਬੈਕ ਬਾਰੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਹਾਂ, ਹੁਣ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਬਾਰੇ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ ਹੈ ਐਂਡ ਸਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਤਨੂ ਕੌਰ ਸੰਧੂ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ all about her come and how ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਹੁਣ ਟੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਰਿਲੀਫ ਕਰਨਾ। ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਿਆਹੇ ਹੋ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਟੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਹੀ ਹੋਣੀ ਆ, ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਇਲਾਜ ਕੋਈ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਮੇਰੇ ਵੀਰੋ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਚੱਲਣਾ ਹੀ ਪੈਣਾ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਹੈਗਾ। ਬਾਕੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਭੈਣਾਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਬਲੀਵ ਟੈਨਸ਼ਨ ਦੇਣ 'ਚ ਬਲੀਵ ਕਰਦੀਆਂ ਰਾਦਰ ਦੈਨ ਰਿਲੀਵਿੰਗ ਇਟ, ਉਹ ਵੀ ਚਲੋ ਵੱਖਰੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ, ਉਹ ਤਾਂ ਸੁਭਾਅ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਦਲਣੇ। ਬਟ ਨਾਓ ਵੀ ਗੋਇੰ ਟੂ ਟਾਕ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਆ ਜੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੋਰੇ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਐਂਡ ਲੁਕਸ ਲਾਈਕ ਅ ਸਿਰ but a ganja nanga one, bit like my one.
So this is a skull right here.
Okay,
and it's all color coded as well to make it nice and easy. So we're made up of quite a lot of bones, and also if you see on the inside.
नहीं होता जो skull होता एक हड्डी नहीं होती?
Absolutely not. We're made up of completely loads of different bones.
So इधर part होंगे like Lego.
Yeah.
Bit like
you can say
Lego.
it is a bit like Lego.
Okay.
So as you can see here, we've got a lot of facial bones inside as well.
Oh,
so
and under भी होंगे?
Loads. Absolutely loads.
Okay. So कल्ला एक नहीं हड्डी होंगी थोड़ी बाहर दी skull दी, ये कई हिस्से बने होंगे या, तो अंदर भी थोड़े हड्डियां होनी है इधर च, ये नहीं कि अंदर खाली होंदा, दा कईयां दा खाली होंदा, but आम तौर पे नहीं कुछ ना कुछ स्कीम भरी होंदी विच इधर च. So okay, so इधर हड्डियां हैं.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for example, you know, a lot of people get sign, and here are bits coming out now. So you know, even
damag kharab.
Yeah, exactly, it's damag kharab. So for example, you know, a lot of people get a lot of jaw pain and things after they, you know, visit the dentist and stuff. And most of the time it's because they're having to, you know, keep their mouth open for a long period of time. So because these bones move independently of each other, you can pop them into a very strenuous position. And that's why sometimes,
like into different.
Yeah, they can move.
Set then?
No.
Like Lego. Once you fix Lego, you can't. It's pretty much you can't move it, right?
No, you can't move it. You can. They go backwards and forwards. They go side to side. They can rotate on each other and things. So that's.
So another position सही होनी बहुत ज़रूरी है.
Yes.
Okay.
So a lot of people get their pain and problems because the bones haven't gone back into the correct alignment and they're causing pressure in the fluid system in the body.
Okay. So tell us a bit more about what these different colours mean.
Oh, great. Yeah. Here's my anatomy. So this is our frontal bone here.
Okay.
Okay. This is here, obviously, at our forehead.
Yeah, that's like matha.
Yes.
Yeah, this is your matha.
So it protects the brain.
Matha,
Okay, and we've got
so its job है to try the brain to protect.
Yes, it's there to protect the brain.
Okay.
Okay. So are most of the actual bigger bones in the body. So at the back here, we've got the parietal bones, which lie on the side.
Okay.
And the biggest suture we have lies down the two. So these can move independently like this.
Oh, okay.
And they protect
so they're not
the back
like
of the
it's
brain.
not just one thing. So they move separately.
No. So this is kind of a new phenomenon that's come out because obviously in old anatomy books and things, you know, medics believe it can't move.
Yeah.
You know, once we get to a certain age, it's all fused together.
Okay.
But this is where all the new research coming out.
So who's right then? The new people or the old people?
Well, I don't know because there's some Italian anatomy books that say they do move. So I just think it's there's more research. Different doctors say different things. And, well, that's the problem with everything, isn't it?
Yeah. Right, so a bit of we don't really know.
Well, we do. There's a lot of research done in America on this stuff, but, you know, it's still a lot, I think, still to explore.
Okay.
A lot of the problems nowadays is funding and things,
So when you have a headache, then what happens?
Anywhere. So it could be a jaw issue leading up. So this is what I'm explaining. It can go up. Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Look how interconnected all these bones are.
It's all connected.
Yes, they all connect within each other.
So
exactly. Imagine if the jaw went, it put pressure on this bone, and then it can have a problem in this. Or it put pressure in here, and this is where you get your tension type headaches at the front.
So we have a lot of people say एक तो normal सिर दुखदा, एक migraine हुंदी है.
Yes.
Migraine तो normal headaches की फर्क हुंदा?
Okay, there's a big difference between obviously headaches and migraines. Migraines can be triggered by different factors and things like light and stuff. So that's a bit of a different.
So I know a few aunties, and they're always like, Harjap, my migraine ho gayi. And I said, auntie, udda sir dekho da na. Nahi migraine hoyi. Main thanu pata hai migraine hundi ki hai. And they're like, nahi, but who you are. So, all right. So normal headache to migraine too far. Migraine is it a worse type of headache?
It's done by different stimulus. It's not just tension type. It doesn't go away. You know, most of the time you have to be in a dark room. You can see little spots in front of your face. They're a lot more of a severe type of headache.
So migraine is sort of deeper type of
yes, and it can last for a couple of days. You know, most of the time painkillers don't. Normal painkillers won't take it away.
Right. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ painkiller ਖਾਂਦੇ ਆ, when you have a paracetamol or cocodamol, whatever it's called, a Panadol, whatever, yeah. So ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ 'ਚ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਫਿਰ? How does that stop this pain?
Well, pain medication's there to stop your pain receptors at the end of the day. So when you eat it, it ingests, travels up to the brain, sends a decoding message to the brain to send a message to.
So it like numbs your nada.
It basically numbs it.
Okay, so it doesn't actually change the position of your muscles or anything.
It doesn't take it away. It just relieves the pain, and that's why.
So literally, that's why it's called a painkiller. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ painkiller ਖਾਂਦੇ ਆ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਕਿਉਰ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਨਾੜਾਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਉਹ ਸੁੰਨ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੀਆਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਰਦ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜੋ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਦਰਦ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹ ਨਾੜਾਂ ਕਰਕੇ ਹੀ ਮਹਿਸੂਸ ਹੁੰਦਾ, right? So nerves are the pain receptors.
Yes. Exactly. This is why it's so important that we open up the nerves and stuff that stop the problem from happening instead of just having to take painkillers and hoping it eventually goes.
So, aap aiya, right?
Yep.
Eda sir dukhda.
Yes.
So, how would you treat that?
Well, I'd figure out where his pain's coming from. Just like the back, is it coming from muscle tension?
Okay.
Most of the time, I would say 80% of the time it is.
It's muscle tension.
It's muscle tension. So all these muscles that attach from there and to the back, most of the time pull the head, and that's what causes the problems. Obviously, trauma is the biggest thing. You know, people that exactly. Not even just from now. A lot of trauma is held by the body for years.
Okay. So, would you massage it, or what would you do to it?
Okay. So I use a therapy called cranial sacral therapy. So it's a very invasive, gentle touch therapy. Okay. So you work on releasing the cranial bones.
Okay.
Just with gentle hand work.
Okay, bones or muscles? Are there any muscles here, or is it just head?
We have a layer of fascia that runs over, but there's not muscle there. There's a very thin layer of fascia, but that's it.
Okay, so it's aam taur te haddi hunda saddi.
No, but there's a lot of muscles that obviously attach at the frontal, but in terms of the actual skull.
Okay, and because you say that it's made up of moving parts.
Yes.
So therefore you can manipulate and maneuver, right?
Exactly.
All right. So, and how long would you say massaging that head is for? Good for?
In terms of self kind of massaging. Well, do you know what? Find out where the problem's coming from. You know, first of all, I'd use the muscles. So I'd start to feel the muscles, and if that brings on your headache, then you know where it's coming from.
Okay.
You know, and you can sit and massage your muscle.
So lot of headaches come from the muscle. Okay. Right. So, Manu says, when Buddhi says that, so Bibi and she goes, Mera sir dukhda, right? So sir dukhda. And they say, okay, so Bibi get this sarong tail, or they get this surajmukhi tail, and they go like this, and that gas in the air. So what does that do? I mean,
you're probably just stimulating some receptors up there, and that's about it.
But because that seems to be the Disya large for a headache.
It is. I think it originally came from maybe a similar method of they think the cranial bones are, you know, movable, so that's why they do it. But I'll be honest, you're better off massaging your neck.
Right, okay.
Most of the time.
So, in a headache, je ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਸਿਰ ਦੁਖਦਾ ਹੈ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣਾ ਮਗਜ ਮਾਰ ਕੇ ਕਮਲੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਓ ਉਹ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਨਾੜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਟੈਂਸ਼ਨ ਟੈਂਸ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸੋ ਨਾੜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਧੌਣ ਚ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸੋ ਜਦੋਂ ਹੈਡੇਕ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ you should try massaging your neck as well ਜੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਫਰਕ ਪੈਂਦਾ and then ਫਿਰ ਜੇ ਉਹ ਨਾ ਫਰਕ ਪਿਆ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਵਾਲੇ ਇੱਧਰ ਨਹੀਂ do this right ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੋ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬ੍ਰੇਨ ਆ ਹੈਡ ਆ ਇਹ ਕਈ ਹਿੱਸਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਬਣਿਆ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਹੱਡ ਆ ਜੋ ਕਿ ਹਿਲਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ So ਉਹਦੇ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੇ ਉਹ move on ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ headache tension can be released.
But to be honest, if it makes you feel good, why not?
Yeah, well, a lot of stuff makes us feel good. Right, okay. So that's to do with headaches.
Yes.
And now what sort of other injuries do you deal with, or what sort of other ailments do you deal with?
Okay, so I can deal with even, you know, I don't know if we should quite say this, but menopausal problems,
Okay,
actually,
yeah,
with
of course
this
you can
stuff.
say it,
You know, a lot of the time it's tension built up in the fascia and things around the pelvis area that causes a lot of that stuff.
Okay. So that's something that you treat quite regularly?
Yes, quite regularly, in the sense of it's something I've been doing with craniosacral more than anything.
Yeah.
But, you know, especially as well of the hyoid and parathyroid, which all lies here, that control the hormones for it as well. So it's about releasing everything off to just enable the system to self-heal, basically, and help.
Now, you don't actually do you prescribe medicine?
No.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦਵਾਈਆਂ ਪਰਚੀਆਂ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਲਿਖ ਕੇ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ?
I'm afraid not, no.
Okay, why not?
Well, I'm looking away. I'm using the alternative.
Okay.
We don't want to get people on medicine.
Right.
At the end of the day, medicine is there. It has its uses. And obviously it's necessary for certain things. But if you can try not to, why not?
Okay. So what you're sort of saying is, suggesting is that before someone goes down the medicine route, or before, you know, someone goes down the surgery route, say, they should give this a try.
Why not? You know, surgery is so invasive.
Yeah.
And it can really put a stopper in your life. It can really affect some things. And a lot of the time surgery can and cannot work, or can and cannot make things worse.
Right.
I just think there's always, you owe it to yourself to try something different, to allow yourself to go through such heartache, basically, and the people that love you and surround you.
Right. So if I went to a doctor, right, like a GP or something, right, or say a surgeon or someone like that, and I said to him, right, mera aa dukhda, then they would say to us, right, tu scan kara, tu operation kara, hai na, ja tu physio ko ja, yeah. So, and then if I said, well, hold on, let's try this method, would they really be receptive to that or not? I mean, do you work with doctors or not? Or do doctors sort of look at you and say, well, actually, nah,
do you know what? It's becoming more common out there for people and surgeons and GPs to refer to alternative healthcare. At the end of the day, a lot of GPs and some friends of mine that are GPs, you know, they'll get people in and say, I can only give you painkillers, I can't do anything else for you. You know, go seek this out. This is what you're looking for. With physios in that sense, the NHS system, you know, it's great being there and it's free and available to everyone, but they're so restricted on time constraints and what they can do. It's really difficult for them to kind of just
appointments,
address the
waiting
problems.
times.
Well, 6 to 8 weeks is the normal waiting time for a physio. And to be honest, an acute problem lies between 0 weeks and 6 weeks, and then it becomes chronic. And then you've got a harder chance of getting rid of it because it's settled within the system. So between 0 and 6 weeks is really when you want to get everything looked at.
Do you use elements of homeopathy as well?
I don't.
Right.
I don't. I suggest it to people dependent on what, but obviously I've got people that I can refer to that I go see personally myself as well to look at it if I see it as that base if it's coming from. If I think there's something nutritional based or there's a medicine for a certain condition that they're having that it can try the homeopathic route, I will do suggest and refer on.
Okay, so give us some tips about how to avoid headaches or what to do if we've got a headache.
Tips to avoid headache. Obviously, let's just start with our lovely people sitting at desks. Stretch your neck out at your breaks, you know. Take one hand over your hand like this. Hold your shoulder and just take over. And take it over to the side and hold it there for about a minute.
So ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਡੈਸਕ ਤੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਪਿਊਟਰ ਮੋਰੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਧੌਣ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਿਲਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਹਿਲਾਉਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਆਕੜੇ ਹੋ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਧੌਣ ਨਾਲ move your head. You know?
Yeah, I would say this for the aunties as well when they're sitting and cooking. You know, a lot of them.
Even ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਬਜ਼ੀ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਦਾਲ ਬਣਾਉਣੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੁਕਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਗੱਠੇ ਚੱਲ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ you know ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਬੈਠਣੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਇੱਕ ਪੋਜੀਸ਼ਨ 'ਚ ਖੜਨੇ ਵਾਲਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ then to move your head a lot.
Yeah, stretch it.
Stretch it. Like about an hour.
As in,
how many stretches should you do an hour? A couple of times, 2 or 3 times?
It's up to yourself. It's up to anybody.
But keep it moving, yeah?
Just keep it moving. And the stretch really helps, you know, maybe once every hour kind of thing. Just stretch it out. What's a minute at your time of just stretching out? You can still look at your screen.
Okay. Other tips?
Other tips. Water.
Pani.
Biggest important thing on the headache.
You've mentioned a lot about water. You give us backly water water. Why pani essentially?
Well, our body is made up of a lot of water at the end of the day. You know, if we're hydrated and all of us drink too much tea, which is caffeine, or coffee, or fizzy drinks. That's taking water out of our system.
Okay, so ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚਾਹ ਆ, coffee ਆ, fizzy drink ਆ, ਇਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ system ਚੋਂ ਪਾਣੀ ਕੱਢਦਾ?
Yeah, it uses water to get out your system.
And why do we need water in our body? Is it to keep the muscles fluid and soft and moving?
It's to keep our muscles fluid, it's to help our organs. It really is just a necessity for the body.
So ਪਾਣੀ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਪੀਣਾ, ਪਾਣੀ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ, ਬੋਡੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮੋਬਾਈਲ ਰਹਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ। ਜੋ ਬਾਕੀ ਡਰਿੰਕਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਬੋਡੀ ਸੁੱਕ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਪਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਰਹਿੰਦਾ ਇੰਨਾ, ਪਾਣੀ ਰਹਿਣਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਹੈ ਬੋਡੀ। So water is quite essential.
Very essential.
Do you have a set amount that you usually suggest to people?
It's just the common, 2 litres a day, and I say
2 litre ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ।
Yeah, but obviously if you drink more tea and coffee, then up that.
2 ਲੀਟਰ ਪਾਣੀ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੀਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਦਾ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ 2 ਲੀਟਰ ਤੋਂ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਚਾਹ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਕਾਫੀ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪਾਣੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਅਪ ਕਰ ਦੇਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਪੀਂਦੇ ਆ। Is there anything that's too much water or not really?
I don't think so. You just be going to the toilet quite often.
Okay, fair enough, yeah. So if you've got a driving job, you don't need too much water. Okay, so water is another way to, I suppose, you're saying it's good for headaches, it avoids headaches. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say it avoids headaches, obviously it depends on the stimulus, but it's a good way because a lot of the headaches that we do get are dehydration headaches.
Right, okay. Do you see that a lot of people aren't drinking the right amount of water? And why?
Because there's other alternatives available that are tastier.
And basically it's not, so it's not as if there's a lack of time or anything like that, right?
I don't.
There's a lack of, you see, with every office you go to, you see them water cups and everyone's got them,
Yeah, but do they ever go and take them?
Right, okay, so the main thing is ਜਿੰਨਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਪੀ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਪੀ ਲਓ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਫਾਇਦੇ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆ ਉਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਈ ਬਿਮਾਰੀਆਂ ਦੂਰ ਰਹਿ ਸਕਦੀਆਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। That's quite good, I didn't know that. Right, what sort of other illnesses are related to nerves and related to our lifestyles? I mean, that people come to see you with.
Okay, so a common thing, since we're talking about heads and necks and things, is pins and needles and stuff down your arm.
Okay.
Tendinitis, overuse injuries, sporting injuries that you get quite a lot of.
Okay.
Arthritis in the knee.
How can you help arthritis? Is that curable? I mean, is that...
It's not curable, obviously, but I can help it. I can help ease the pain and, give people more days that they go without pain before, they have to take too much medication for it.
Okay, right, well, there you go. It's got dimaag ware and sir ware and pehla back ware gal kiti. When we come back, we're going to talk about how to become
McTimney,
there you go. McTimney chiropractor, and how has it been for an Asian woman to start up her business and ki takleefan ya ki nahi. Oh, sariyan gallan ho gaya, break to baad.
That'll be $4.99, ma'am.
There you go.
Thank you. And have a great day.
Well, what about my change?
What can you get with 1p?
A call to my mum who lives in India. You don't believe me? Mum!
Hi, Beta.
How are you?
Call India Landlines and Mobiles for only 1 pence per minute. Order your free SIM at likeamobile.co.uk today.
Yo, I got a custom-made 3-litre turbo injected GTI in it.
Hello, local youth. I am confused how it come, but you can call me Brian.
Yo, what's poppin'?
I have run the details of your sensible 1.1-litre hatchback through my circuits, resulting in a saving of £366 on your car insurance.
Thanks for that, yeah?
Solid.
Yes!
Confused.com.
Rock On Music proudly presents An Evening with Roop Kumar and Sonali Rathore.
Friends, we are bringing this very special concert just for you on 8th of November at the Logan Hall, London.
Experience the heart-healing music by the famous duo.
And 9th November at the Montford, Leicester. So please be there.
Call box office for tickets.
ये तेरा घर ये मेरा घर
मकान खरीदना हो, बेचना हो, किराए पर चढ़ाना हो या फिर आपको किराए पर मकान लेना हो, याद रखिए एक ही नाम, सीक्वेंस प्रॉपर्टीज। प्रोफेशनल सर्विस, गुजराती, हिंदी, पंजाबी और इंग्लिश बोलने वाला स्टाफ, फ्री वैल्यूएशन, इंश्योरेंस एडवाइस एंड फ्री मॉर्गेज कंसल्टेशन। सीक्वेंस प्रॉपर्टीज, 5 कोरोनेट परेड, ईडिंग रोड, वेम्बली। कॉल 020-8902-0266।
महाकाल मानव सेवा की ओर से और गुरु माँ कंचन जी की तरफ से भगवती माँ का विशाल जागरण बहुत श्रद्धा पूर्वक हो रहा है। तो आप सभी भक्तजन माँ के चरणों में आइए और माँ का आशीर्वाद लीजिए। माँ का गुणगान सुरेंद्र पाल लंदन वाले करेंगे और अन्य भगत माँ के चरणों में हाजिरी लगवाएंगे। जय माता की।
When your dreams are just taking flight and the wind beneath them, I whisk you away to the twinkling Queen's Necklace by night in Mumbai, or the rising dry heat of the Australian outback, to the street food of Bangkok, or the teeming traffic of Delhi, in time for you to nail that deal, meet the family, shop till you drop, or just rest your feet. I'm your Air India, from dreams to reality.
स्वागत है, वेलकम टू द शो। जी आनू गल साडी हो रही है तनु को संधू नाल, जो कि सानू सेहत बारे दस रहे हैं, खास तौर पर बैक बारे एंड दिमाग बारे एंड हेडेक्स बारे एंड सिर बारे कि इन्हां दा किद्दां इलाज कर सकते हैं किद्दां नहीं। एंड learnt a new phrase today, McTimoney chiropractor. Okay, so ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੁਣਦੇ for McTimoney, is that he's something only for Scottish people only?
No, actually I studied just outside Oxford in a place called Abingdon.
Oh right, okay. I know that. That's near Oxford. Kidlington. Kidlington. Because I took detention centre and I used to go and get the fudgy bit out there, yeah, in Kidlington. So कई सारे वीर रह के आए Kidlington वाली कैंप च, उत्थे लगे पढ़े। Okay, मैं जो तुसी कर रहे हैं, बहुत लोग मैं देखिया unqualified कर दे। हर एक everyone, this one in each household, yeah. ਸਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਚ ਹੀ ਹੋਣਾ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਘਰ ਚ ਹੀ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਹੋਣਾ, who says yeah ਕੋਈ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੈਂ ਸੂਤ ਕਰਦਾ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹੱਡੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ and all that. But how comes Asian people ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ qualified ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ?
I think it's not been put out there. You know, a lot of Asians get a lot of pressure to become doctors and dentists and things. But I think with the awareness more about people starting to go to these, you know, alternative medicine, is kind of looking forward, and now people are recognising it and stuff. And I think there's a lot more coming out now than there was before.
Okay. Now 5 years is a big time. Bahut time hai invest karne into a degree.
Yeah.
So when someone thinks, right, 5 year di degree karni hai, us to baad fir kam chalega ya nahi chalega, ya utte koi job koi guaranteed nahi hegi more, right? Because it's not as if hospitals employ you.
Exactly.
Yeah, maybe clinics employ you. I assume you have to become self-employed afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So why should people then take that risk? I mean, that's a big risk to take. ਤੁਸੀਂ 5 ਸਾਲ ਦੀ ਡਿਗਰੀ ਕੀਤੀ, ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੋਈ ਜੌਬ ਵੀ ਗਾਰੰਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ। ਸੋ ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦਾ ਅਕਾਊਂਟੈਂਟ ਬਣਦਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਚਲੋ ਮੈਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਕੰਪਨੀ ਲਈ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਊਂਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਗਵਰਨਮੈਂਟ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਲੂੰਗਾ। ਜੇ ਕੋਈ ਵਕੀਲ ਬਣਦਾ ਚਲ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਲੂੰਗਾ ਜਾਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਲਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਰ ਲੂੰਗਾ। ਇਹ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਬਣਦਾ ਮੈਨੂੰ NHS ਨੇ EMPLOY ਕਰ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਜੌਬ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕੋਈ ਗਾਰੰਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗੀ। ਸੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਪਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ this was the right path to do and whatnot? And what did your mum and dad have to say about it? Because they must have said, ਕੁੜੀਏ ਤੂੰ 5 ਸਾਲ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੂੰ ਹਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਪੇ ਮਿਲੀ ਜਾਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਅੱਛੀ ਜੌਬ ਮਿਲੀ, then what are you going to do?
I guess my parents are really supportive. They're all self-employed. They've got their own business, so it's kind of a family kind of trait to have our own business. It is very difficult. You know, it's not, you know, a structured income that you get every month.
Okay.
But you know, the good thing I think about being self-employed is, you know, you work hard, you get the efforts back, and also as well, you pick your own times. And I think that's what I looked into in terms of why I wanted to be self-employed and make it on my own, because it's down to your own time scales.
Why did you work in London? For ਤੁਸੀਂ London ਚ ਕਿਉਂ ਕੰਮ ਕੀਤਾ? Why didn't you go to Scotland? Go back to Scotland, right? Why didn't you go to Birmingham?
I did for a year. I did go back to Scotland for a year to work for someone, just to get my head in the game. And sadly, I found love while I was here. So stayed.
Well, okay. So a lot of maybe females out there, males out there. First of all, ਕੋਈ ਬੰਦੇ ਵੀ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਦੇ?
Yep. One of my friends from the university actually works with a lot of surgeons and things in Harley Street in central London.
Right. So did your job Harley Street you back here?
Well, he went and did a master's in sports rehab and things, and got into sports teams, and that's what he does now.
No, wow.
Yeah,
okay. So, is there? I'm going to ask you this, right? But it's the first one. Pay changi That's what they ask you about.
Do you know what? It's like any business. Starting your business on your own, you do have your ups and downs to start with.
Right. What taqleef did you face in?
Competition.
Okay.
You know, there's a lot of people
Are there
out
a lot of people? I've never heard of it.
Osteopaths, physios, and chiropractors, because a lot of people don't know the difference between each one.
Yeah.
It's a lot of recommendations, and there's a lot of people that have been around for years and things. So competition is one of the hardest things, I think, for being in London.
Okay.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Okay.
And just getting yourself out there. To be honest, most of the people that come and see me because they like me as a person as well. I think that's really important to feel safe with your practitioner and like them and get on with them.
Do you get a lot of Asian patients?
I would say it's a good half-half.
Really?
Yeah, it's a good half-half.
So how do they hear about you?
A little bit word of mouth. For example, I do a lot of spine checks. I'm doing one this Saturday at the Feltham and Hanworth airports on Saturday. So I do a lot of spine checks at local gyms and things like that to kind of get the word out. But a lot of it is word of mouth.
Okay. As an Asian female, Asian औरत होके ए field करके, do you feel that's hindered you or has it helped you? And was it harder because you're an Asian, or was it easier? Or didn't it matter?
I don't think it mattered to me to begin with, but I felt now actually embracing it has been a bit better because, you know, a lot of the older generation feel discomfortable going to people that can't really understand them, can't really get their lifestyle. So that's where I fit in that gap.
Okay.
You know, a lot of the older generation do come and see me because they feel a bit more comfortable. Because
so सियाने आंदे ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ काफी सियाने आंदे होने हैं. Do young people have these illnesses as well?
In terms of
like back problems and
of course
headaches and
you know I see babies a lot of
babies as well.
Yes, I see a lot of babies.
But baby no key problem.
Well, think about how the birthing process and what it does to the skull bones and everything.
Really?
Yeah. So, you know, earaches in children, colic in children can quite a lot of the time be related to how they've come out and what's been stuck, if the shoulder's been stuck in and things.
Oh, but doesn't that is it disturbing you totally? I mean, when you watch babies in pain, I mean, I can't see children in pain, but I suppose no one can, but...
Do you know what the most satisfying thing about treating children and young babies is? You see, they can't tell you if they're faking the effects or not.
Yeah.
It's just there. And I think that's so magical because, you know, if you really help a kid, it helps their parents, you know, if it's been crying loads and stuff. And it really changes lives. Like, this is why I love doing what I do. It changes people's lives.
Wow. I mean, would you have considered now, after you've done this, would you consider becoming a GP or a surgeon or anything else or not? Or would you think you just love what you do?
It's a hard question because obviously everyone wants an easier income.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I love what I do. It's so satisfying. And if this is the way it's got to be done to help people at the end of the day.
Asian women as a whole, we had Rupinda and Panan the other week, and they were talking about how hard it is Asian women. Do you think, and I've just been to Japan, and Japan, I देख के आया कि उत्थे भी culture हैगा of women being suppressed. Matlab, there's certain things that a woman is supposed to do and can't do. You know, there's certain times when she's supposed to speak. She can't interfere in what blokes are doing, and there's a certain expectation. Do you think ਸਾਡੇ culture ਚ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ culture ਹੈਗਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ Asian ਔਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਦਬਾਇਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ, ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ ਉਹਦੇ wishes ਨੂੰ, ਉਹਦੇ ਖੁਆਇਸ਼ਾਂ ਨੂੰ, and what she can do and what she can't do? Do you see an element of that?
I do see an element of that, but I'm so lucky I grew up in a family that probably think women are the superiors, to be honest. You know, there was more females in my house than males. And, but I have seen it around me. But to be honest, I think I was just very lucky.
What do you say to women like that who really want to go out and do something? But, you know, they're thinking, right, should we as Asian women or not? Or should we just stick at home and look after the kids and, you know, and just do what our husbands say? Because there is an element of that. I've seen that quite a lot. I see it a lot, especially when immigrants come over.
Yes.
And so ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਆਉਂਦੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਘਰ ਰਹਿਣਾ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਸ ਬੱਚੇ ਜਮਾਉਣੇ ਆ ਐਂਡ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਸ ਆਪਣੇ ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਦੀ ਲੁੱਕ ਆਫਟਰ ਕਰਨੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾ ਸਕਦੇ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਕਰੀਅਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ। ਕਈ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਆਈਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਐਜੂਕੇਟਿਡ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ, ਆਈ ਮੀਨ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਐਟ ਹਾਈ ਲੈਵਲ। ਬੰਦਾ ਤਾਂ ਚੌਥੀ ਫੇਲ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਡਰੱਗੀ ਟਾਈਪ, ਤਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ MA ਕੁੜੀ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਐਂਡ ਇਟਸ ਨਾਟ ਰੀਅਲੀ ਅ ਮੈਚ, ਬਟ and then the kudi's expected to just forget everything.
At home. It depends what you want in life. Obviously, if you do want to settle home and look after your kids and be a housewife, that's fine.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, everyone should have equal opportunities.
But there's no reason why people can't do your job and still be a mother and look after kids, right?
This is one of the biggest things about my job. It's absolutely brilliant. You can schedule it through the times of pick up of school and stuff. This is why the job's brilliant.
So ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਔਰਤ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਓ ਜਾਂ ਸੈਲਫ ਇੰਪਲੋਇਡ ਕਰੋ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੀ ਖਰਾਬ ਹੋ ਜੂਗੀ, ਕੋਈ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੀ। Because you always get a lot of people saying, oh, ਫਲਾਨੀ 40 ਦੀ ਹੋ ਗਈ, ਉਹਦਾ ਵਿਆਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੀਅਰ ਤੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਆ, but there's no reason really why people should say that.
There's no reason why, my mum's a very successful self-employed woman as well, in an industry that's very male orientated as well.
Okay. So she raised you a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. She raised me that I can do anything that a man can do, and I can at the end of the day. This weekend I was painting and putting up shelves and stuff all by myself.
Right. So if there are people at home and they're thinking, right, मैं भी ये काम करना चाहती हूँ, what's the first sort of steps that you need to do?
The first steps is obviously looking at UCAS.
Okay.
It's exact same uni system as well.
So there's a lot of girls coming out of college now, or there will be next year, and they're thinking, right, this sounds like something interesting. So the first thing is to look at UCAS?
Yes.
Okay.
Contact the McTimoney College. There's one opening up in Manchester now.
Okay.
And go and have an open day.
Are there specific colleges, or can you do it at any uni?
There are specific colleges for McTimoney. Obviously, there's the general chiropractic as well, and there's a couple of schools around the country as well. But to be honest, just go on the internet, find out. They've got open days happening all the time. Or even just go and have a try at the therapy, see if you like it, see if you believe in it. Because to be honest, it's very difficult to be self-employed in something you don't believe in. I think you really have to believe in it to be able to do well.
Do you think you did this because you'd seen the effects of alternative medicine?
I've been treated with McTimoney since the age of about 4.
Right, okay.
I had horses when I was younger. I fell off a lot,
Okay. So
I went for that.
Done your head behind and all that.
Yeah, exactly. And, till this day, knock wood, I hadn't really had issues with that.
So it worked for you?
It worked for me, it worked for my family, so I kind of just fell into it, and something you really believe in.
Okay. And what's your advice to, Asian kids out there who are 18 and probably looking at going to uni next year, and their mums and dads who are probably thinking to the kids, with us lot, we didn't really have much of a choice. It's like vakil ban, doctor ban, accountant ban and all that, dentist ban, optician ban. What's your advice to kids who are probably being pushed that way, or parents who are pushing their kids that way?
Just be open to what everybody wants at the end of the day. We live in a quite liberal society. We should be able to blend and meld, I think. And, you don't want to grow up regretting what you did and not enjoying what you do on a daily basis. I don't think that's life. I think you should enjoy everything that you do.
ਦੇਖੋ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਉਸ ਰਸਤੇ ਹੀ ਪੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਰਿਸ਼ਤੇਦਾਰ ਸਕਸੈਸਫੁਲ ਹੋਣ ਜਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੇ ਹੋਣ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਹੋਵੇ, ਟੀਚਰ ਹੋਵੇ, ਨਰਸ ਹੋਵੇ, ਡੈਂਟਿਸਟ ਹੋਵੇ, ਆਪਟੀਸ਼ਨ ਹੋਵੇ। ਬਹੁਤ ਹੋਰ ਵੀ ਕਰੀਅਰ ਆ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀ ਲਿਵਿੰਗ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, ਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਉਹੀ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਪੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚਾ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੈ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ। ਔਰ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹੋਗੇ ਕਿ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਬਣ ਤਾਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੂੰ ਖੂਨ ਤੋਂ ਡਰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਦਾ ਕੋਈ ਟੀਕਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਲਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਜਾਂ ਆਪ ਟੀਕੇ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਤੇ ਰੋਣ ਲੱਗ ਜਾਂਦਾ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹ ਓਬਵੀਅਸਲੀ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਜੋਬ ਹੋਣੀ ਜੋ ਉਹਨੇ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੀ। ਸੋ ਬੱਚੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਨੂੰ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਪੁੱਛੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੇ ਕੀ ਨਹੀਂ। ਜੇ ਉਹ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸੁਜੈਸਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਮਾਨਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਟਰਨੈਟ 'ਤੇ ਬਹਿ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਰਿਸਰਚ ਕਰੋ। ਅਤੇ ਇਹ ਜ਼ਰੂਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਰਸਤੇ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁਸ਼ ਕਰਨਾ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ। ਬਹੁਤ ਜੋਬਾਂ ਉੱਥੇ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛੀ ਲਿਵਿੰਗ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਕਦੇ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਵੀ ਨਾ ਹੋਊਗਾ ਅਬਾਊਟ ਦੈਮ ਜੋਬਸ। ਅਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਆਪਣੇ ਲੋਕ ਤਰੱਕੀ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਆ। ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਔਰਤ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਫੈਮਿਲੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਇਜਾਜ਼ਤ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਜੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਆ ਦੈਨ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਪਣੇ ਪੈਰਾਂ 'ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਖੜੋ, ਆਮਦਨੀ ਕਮਾਓ। ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਘਰੇ ਹੀ ਬਹਿਣਾ, ਬੇਬੀ ਪੈਦਾ ਕਰਨੇ, ਹਸਬੈਂਡ ਹੀ ਉੱਥੇ ਜੀ ਕੰਮ 'ਤੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਾ ਲੱਗਾ ਰਵੇ, ਉਹੀ ਕਮਾਵੇ ਜਿੰਨਾ ਕਾਵੇ, ਠੀਕ ਆ। ਔਰਤ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ੍ਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਪਾਵਰਫੁਲ ਹੈਗੀ। ਇਹ ਮੁਲਕ ਇੱਕ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਕੁਅਲ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਕੋਲ ਉਹੀ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਆ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਉਹ ਬੰਦਾ ਆ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਔਰਤ ਆ, ਭਾਵੇਂ ਬੱਚਾ ਆ, ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਕੋਲ ਇੱਕੋ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀਜ਼ ਆ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਣਾ ਸਕਦਾ, ਜੋਬ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ। ਇਹ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹੀ ਤਾਂ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਆ। ਜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਉਹੀ ਸੋਚ ਰੱਖਣੀ ਆ, ਦਿਹਾਤੀ ਸੋਚ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਔਰਤ ਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਬਾਹਰ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਕੰਮ 'ਤੇ ਲੱਗਣਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਬਈ ਬੇਬੀ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਵਾਲੀ ਮਸ਼ੀਨ ਹੈ ਜੀ, ਬਸ ਕਿ ਨਿਆਣੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਨੈਪੀਆਂ ਲਾਵੇ, ਬਸ ਜੀ ਭਾਂਡੇ ਮਾਂਜੀ ਜਾਵੇ ਅਤੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੀ ਕੰਮ ਕਰੂ। ਅਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਵਧਾਉਂਦੇ, ਅਸੀਂ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਵੱਧਦੇ। ਕਮਿਊਨਿਟੀ ਤਾਂ ਵੱਧਦੀ ਆ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਚ ਨੂੰ ਖੋਲੋਗੇ, ਆਪਣੀ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਸੋਚ ਨੂੰ ਖੋਲ੍ਹੋ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਛੇ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬਣ ਸਕੀਏ। ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੋਚ ਛੋਟੀ ਰੱਖਦੇ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਬੜੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਬਣ ਸਕਦੇ। ਬੜਾ ਕੋਈ ਇਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਖਾਨਦਾਨੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਇਹ ਛੋਟਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਾਂ ਉਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਪੈਸੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਉਹ ਬੜਾ ਆ, ਅਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਲਾਉਂਦਾ ਉਹ ਗਰੀਬ ਆ। ਬੜਾ ਆਦਮੀ ਦੀ ਜਾਂ ਔਰਤ ਦੀ ਸੋਚ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, ਜਿਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਸੋਚ ਬੜੀ ਆ ਉਹ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦਾ। ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਣ ਦੇਖ ਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਜਾਂ ਇਵਨ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਕਸੈਸਫੁਲ ਹੋ ਸਕਦੇ ਜੇ ਮੌਕਾ ਹੋਵੇ। ਇਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਜਾਪਾਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਦੇਖ ਕੇ ਆਇਆ ਜੀ। ਸਾਡੇ ਉੱਥੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਮੇਰਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਸਿਰਫ 1500-2000 ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਆ ਪੂਰੇ ਜਾਪਾਨ 'ਚ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖ ਲਓਗੇ ਉਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ। ਪਰ ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ, ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ, ਇੰਜੀਨੀਅਰਿੰਗ ਕਰਕੇ, ਡਿਜ਼ਾਈਨ ਕਰਕੇ, ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ, ਪੰਜਾਬ ਤੋਂ, ਕੋਈ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਜਗ੍ਹਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਗਏ ਕਲਕੱਤੇ, ਬੰਬੇ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਨਾ ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਵੀ ਉਹੀ ਓਪਰਚੁਨਿਟੀ ਸੀ। ਉਹ ਜਾਪਾਨ ਗਏ ਹੋ ਆ, ਪੜ੍ਹੇ ਉੱਥੇ, ਹੁਣ ਬੜੀ ਬੜੀ ਕੰਪਨੀਆਂ ਮਿਤਸੂਬਿਸ਼ੀ, ਹਿਟਾਚੀ, ਸੋਨੀ, ਸੈਮਸੰਗ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਲਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ। ਤਾਂ ਇਸ ਵੇਲੇ 6-6, 7-7 ਲੱਖ ਰੁਪਈਆ ਮਹੀਨੇ ਦਾ ਕਮਾ ਰਿਹਾ। ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ +2 ਕਰਕੇ 10 ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਟਮਾਟਰ ਚੱਕਣ ਦਿਓ, ਟੋਕਰੀਆਂ ਕੱਟਣ ਦਿਓ। ਜੇ ਪਲੈਨਿੰਗ ਥੋੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੀ ਬੰਦਾ ਕਰੇ, ਇਨਸਾਨ ਕਰੇ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਇੱਧਰੋਂ ਪਲਾਨ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਣਾਉਣੀ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਸਾਡੀ ਜੀਵਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੌਖੀ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ, ਬਹੁਤ ਸਫਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ। ਫਿਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਇਹ ਪੁੱਠੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨੇ ਪੈਂਦੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੱਕੇ ਹੋਣ ਲਈ ਜੀ, ਆ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰੋ, ਫਲਾਨਾ ਕਰੋ ਜੀ, ਇਹ ਸਟੇਆਂ ਕਲੇਮ ਕਰੋ। ਪੈਸੇ ਬਣਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਜ਼ਰੀਏ ਹੋਣ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮਿਹਨਤ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਈ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਨਵੈਸਟ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਤਿਆਰ ਆ। Tanu, thank you very much to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for listening to my speech at the end as well. But yeah, thank you to see you. Wish you luck in the future.
Thank you very much.
ਕਹਾਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਆਓ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਕਿ ਹੱਡੀਆਂ ਬਾਰੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਡਿਵੈਲਪਮੈਂਟ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਕਿ ਜੀ ਹੁਣ। If anyone wants to get in touch with you, you're on Facebook and Twitter?
Yep, I'm on Facebook and Twitter. Our website is www.theconscioushealthcentre.com. I'm also doing free spine checks at Feltham and Hanworth Airport. Bye, come down.
Well, I've got no questions, but thank you very much. Thank you to see you. मैं कल होऊंगा बर्मिंघम ਵਿੱਚ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਮਿਲੂੰਗਾ Friday back here ਜਿੱਥੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਾਰੀ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੇਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ। ਫਿਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਦਿਮਾਗ ਕਰੋ ਖਾਓ। ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮਿਲੂੰਗਾ Friday ਨੂੰ। ਮੇਰੇ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।